Yo guys, welcome to Learn to Code Academy. In this tutorial, we're going to create a full stack project, front end React, backend NodeJs. So for the backend, we're going to start our backend first. So we're going to set up our server for backend. So let's get started. So what I'd like you to do is just come to this repo. Once you come to this repo, click on this branch, select the starter pack, clone or download this branch, and so you'll be up to date with me. So you have currently what I have here at this point. And once you have this, you run npm install or yarn install if you're using yarn. Um, okay, so these are just basic folder, basic configurations that we are going to be using. So I'm going to explain everything here. Let me start with the VS Code folder you see here. These are settings.json. It's just to start the title bar over here, so that so I can easily identify which instances of code of Chrome VS Code I'm actually on, because we'll be creating our front end and we're creating our back end. So when we are switching between both editors, so we can easily identify which editor I'm on without looking at the name, because sometimes I might not pay attention to the name and I might make mistake and put what I'm supposed to put on the back end or front end, this whole thing. So that's the whole thing there. So it's just to start the title bar for us. And next is node modules. Yeah, we all know that next is just this node modules. This is like all the packages you've installed. This is where they all come in. Like they all come in this file folder called node modules, all packages you've installed if you're new to node. So yeah, once you run let's say npm install this package, the package comes to node modules, it adds into node modules. So next is babel rc. That's for transferring our code to ES5. This is the configuration to transfer our code to ES5. The whole idea behind it is because Node doesn't understand ES6. So once we are writing our code in ES6, we want Babel to transfer it to ES5, so Node can actually run our code for us. Next is ESLint. That's a style guide which we'll be using just to maintain best practices. Next is git ignore file, just to ignore files that we don't want to push to GitHub. If you are new to Git, that's what the file does. Sequelize RC is an ORM for SQL databases. Helps us avoid the stress of writing pure SQLs. That's what Sequelize does for us. Package.json is where like the entry point of our project. Like without this package.json, this app can run. Okay, so I started this project 7 months ago, as you can see, 7 months ago. So I started this tutorial 7 months ago, but I wasn't able to finish up the tutorial then. I was working and stressed, so I wasn't able to finish up. So now I'm remaking the videos. All I just did was deleted the previous codes we've written, and I left all the configurations and the dependencies I've installed then. So that's why all these dependencies come in with the starter pack. So all you just need to do now is run npm install yarn install to bring in all these dependencies to your node modules. So like I said, to create a node modules for you. Next is a readme file, just a readme file. And this is yarn lock. This is generated once if you're using yarn to install. If you run npm install, it's going to create a package lock.json. If you're using yarn, it's going to create yarn lock for you. So I don't want to push my yarn lock to git, so because it might not be using yarn, it might be using npm. So I'm just going to yarn ignore this. I'm going to add this to git ignore, so git ignores it. Okay, that's it. So what next? What we want to do next now is create a new folder called server. So let's create our server, call it app.js, to import express from express. So we want to initialize express. So say app, some people call this server, any which you call it. I prefer calling it app. I love calling it app, I mean. So express, then app.listing. But now app.listing takes into two params or two params arguments, the port and a callback function. So I'm going to create a port variable here, which is I'll say process.env. So if we are running on online, we are running it on a server online, it's going to use this process.env because a port is going to be passing through the process.env through the environmental variables. So we are going to listen to it. In case there's an environmental variable, it should use it. If there isn't, it should use 4000 for us. But 4000 will definitely work on online local host machine that on your system because this does not exist currently unless you are creating .env file. Unless you create a .env file here and pass in the port, this will work. But if you don't do that, this won't work. So this will only work on online server. Okay. I might as well show you, but later no now. So what I'm going to do now is pass import. I said it takes in a callback function. So we're just going to log server started on. So if I run yarn dev now, it broke. It said cannot find modules share it API. Okay. Reason is because like I said 7 months ago I created this tutorial. I wasn't able to finish up. But back then I created this folder to be API, not server. So what I just need to do now is come to package.json, or if you have this file also, you should come to this package.json and change this API to server because that's what we call the folder now, server, not API. So save. Our server should be back up. So clear first and run the server again. Cool. Server started at port 4000. Nice. So next is we want to create our endpoint. So we can test our endpoint. So we can run our app on Postman or on the browser. For now, we're using the browser. When we need Postman, we install Postman. We use Postman. App.get is a method. Get is a method, HTTP method. So we have a get, post, patch, put, delete. It's a HTTP method. So get is like fetching. Get is like fetching from the server. So it takes a callback function to which is it takes into params of request and response. So so we want to return to the server or want to return to the user a response. So I'm going to send in status of 200 because a get request is a state has status of 200. So now I'm going to return a JSON response to the user. So it says status which is 200 and message which is welcome to our API. Okay, cool. Save this. Before saving it, you can see these red lines here. These are ESLint warnings. To show you how ESLint is working fine. It's just ESLint warnings, and once I save, it formats the code to ESLint configuration to ESLint guidelines. This might not work for you because you have to enable these settings. I did these settings. I can't remember all the things I did. I'm sure I came to settings. Did on format. I installed Prettier also. So on format, Prettier is my default formatter, and I'm sure I checked this. I checked this on format on paste, format on save, and I'm sure there are other settings I did. I can't remember. I'm not sure I remember. Just play around the settings, works and see what works fine for you. Anyway, all I need to do now, our server is running on port 4000 now. I've created our endpoint. So I'm going to go to localhost 4000 and I should guess welcome to our API. But if we did not do this, if I did not create this endpoint, I should we can't see this like this 4000. Yeah, the server is running, but we won't be able to get anything. It says cannot get because it doesn't exist. 4000 the it's looking for the entry port and it doesn't exist. So that's the whole thing there. So now what I like to do is to catch things like this, like when the port doesn't exist, when a endpoint doesn't exist, like something like this, it doesn't exist. So I love catching things like this so that it's sorry for the background noise. So that just to keep our code neat and we don't want our app breaking for weird reasons. So I love to catch things like this. Even on backend and on front end, I love doing this. So all I'm going to do now is just duplicate this first, then move this down here. This is 404 because zero doesn't exist. 404 is not found. So it takes in request and response also. So this is routes not found. Okay, save, reload. Routes not found. Cool. Routes. I think routes is preferable. Route not found. Yeah. So when we hit an endpoint that doesn't exist on our backend, it throws us route not found. That's good. What I like to do is I love to I'll create a new folder called routes, cause routes, and create an index.js in the routes folder. And I'm going to move this there. So Control X. So I'm going to import um, Express here. From Express, initialize router, export router. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to import our routes here, the route file which we just created. So I'll say route app.use routes. So I have this extension that helps me import packages or import files where it just find the files and on save it imports them for me, or like let me undo this, let me show you again. So as you can see, once I click on this, it imports a file for me, which is our route. So let me see. I think it's auto import. Yeah, auto import. So I advise you install this extension. It saves you the stress of typing this whole thing. Anyway, so if I hit this endpoint again, everything should still be working fine. Hit a valid endpoint. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Our app is running fine and nice. Please like and subscribe. Any feedback for me, leave it in the comment section below. I'll pretty much appreciate that. And thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.